Let's leave Canada for now and jump across the pond to my country, the United Kingdom, because we're not doing so well over here on this either. My ears perked up like an excited dog when I read this headline. Hate crime culprits should be made to sign a register like sex offenders, academic claims. Yes, this is my local newspaper, The Chronicle. Islamophobia, hate crime register, kind of vague. What constitutes Islamophobia? What constitutes a hate crime? That's not really explained, but let's go into this article a little more. People guilty of hate crimes should be put on an official register and barred from certain jobs, according to a Northeast academic. I live in the Northeast of England. The Hate Crime Offenders Register would work in a similar way to the Sex Offenders Register, which lists people convicted or cautioned for a sexual offence against children or adults. Well, already I'm seeing red flags all over the place, but let's just continue reading the article and see if any of our fears are quelled. Speaking to the Home Affairs Committee last month, another Northeast academic warned that the internet provided new opportunities to fascist and racist organisations. That damn internet. Professor Matthew Feldman, co-director of the Centre for Fascist, Anti-Fascist and Post-Fascist Studies at Teesside University, Christ, what would you do with that degree? The internet is the perfect storm in a teacup for the far right. It's global, it's potentially anonymous, it is potentially permanent in terms of the material that is there, and of course, places like the United States, which are pretty close to having unrestricted free speech, allow you to host servers there. That damn free speech, it's always problematic, isn't it? Now, the thing about this that's personally interesting to me is Matthew Feldman is a professor at Teesside University. Teesside University is my old university. Dun dun dun! Now, I've never met Matthew Feldman in real life, but I thought I'd send him an email just to get some clarity on these quotes of his. Because the impression I'm getting from him here is he finds unrestricted free speech to be kind of an issue. So for too long didn't read purposes, I sent him the quotes that I'd read in the article and asked him this. So since you identify the internet, because of the freedom of speech it affords to users, is being used as a meeting place for far-right, perhaps fascist ideologies, how would you propose this problem is tackled? Would you be supportive of free speech restrictions on the internet, for example? That's all I wanted to ask. I understand you're a busy man, but any response I could get from you would be highly appreciated. See how polite I am. I'm lovely. Matthew's reply was quite underwhelming, to say the least. The internet is indeed built for far-right activism, insofar as it plays to their strengths. The question of response is, to me, geographically bounded above all. Anything hosted in the US is pointless to contest due to the nearly unrestricted nature of free speech. But that does not extend to private companies that provide a platform in terms of social media, above all Twitter and Facebook, which can indeed ban individuals who cross the line egregiously. Milo is a good example. Well, he's right there, private companies do have the right to ban people for whatever reason they see fit, but Milo is not a good example because that was totally politically motivated, Matthew. You know it, I know it was a bullshit ban, and all they achieved was make Milo even more popular, so good job. There's also grassroots activism that can target individual insiders and far-right activists when they racially or religiously harass individuals. What does that mean? Grassroots activism that can target individual insiders and far-right activists. That sounds a lot like what we're seeing from Antifa on the streets, but I'm not going to put words in his mouth. Those options seem to me much better and democratically safer than restrictions on the internet, which I'm not convinced I'd support nor think would make much of a difference. Well, I'm glad he's not convinced he'd support censoring the internet, because that would be quite fascist, wouldn't it? And as a professor of fascist studies, he definitely knows that. An active and informed citizenry has always been the best motor for change, in the real world no less than online, I'd venture, and that to me remains my position, even if it perhaps smacks of naivety these days. An active and informed citizenry is what got Donald Trump elected, what made Brexit possible, and is probably what's going to bring down the European Union, so I agree with you there. I didn't think Professor Matthew Feldman said anything of much substance in his reply, but I commend him for getting back to me at all. It's always nice to get a dialogue going. Back to the article. In a written paper submitted to the inquiry, Northumbria Police and Crime Commissioner Vera Baird highlighted the use of the internet to spread hatred. She said, "Websites and other online environments that propagate hate are widespread on the internet. Hate websites are both disturbing and destructive. They are disturbing because they disseminate crude messages of hate, often permeated by violent images and words. The sites are destructive because they are easily accessible and designed to be compelling in order to attract new members, especially young people." Oh, won't you think of the young people? Think of the children, Vera, she added. Hate music sites, which contain songs with hateful and prejudiced lyrics, are available on or through links in hate websites. A significant barrier to police in investigating hate sites that appear to violate hate crime laws is the lack of training on the technical issues involved in identifying who is responsible for hate sites and where those sites originate, and proving who is responsible for the content. Vera, with all due respect, what a load of fucking babble. If you're like me and read that, you'll be thinking, what the hell is this woman going on about? What hate websites? What hate music sites? Can we be pointed possibly in the direction of these things? So I decided to send her an email too. So I quoted the article to her and her quotes and asked this at the end. That sounds rather vague in that context, so I was wondering if I could get some specific examples of the sites Miss Bird was referring to. Also, as I'm sure you're aware, recently a man was spared jails in South Shields after spitting on a baby's face and uttering anti-white remarks after doing so. Would this fall into the hate crime category? Oh yeah. Oh damn it, I'm skipping ahead. I should have told you about. Let's go to the spitting man. Sorry about that, I'm getting ahead of myself. Yes, we have people who spit in babies' faces. An attacker spat into a baby's face and shouted, "White people shouldn't breed," in a sickening race-hate assault in South Tyneside. Rezzas Abdulla, oh god no, not a brown person name, oh shit. Where's our narrative gone? Oh fuck. Was spared prison after leaving the little girl, aged just 9 months, in her pushchair, covered in saliva after the shocking afternoon street attack in South Shields. Now, a bit of a side note here, South Shields is a town right near where I live. This isn't that far from me, it's just down the road in fact. So yeah, this is kind of an important story, to me at least. Emma Dowling, prosecuting, told the court he leant into the pushchair and spat into the face of her daughter. As he did so, he shouted or said, "White people shouldn't breed," then walked off. Sounds kind of hateful, this. Abdulla, who the judge says has 2 previous convictions for race-hate attacks on white females, 2, was later tracked down through CCTV. Abdulla was convicted of racially aggravated common assault after a trial at South Tyneside's Magistrates Court, which he did not attend. Of course he didn't attend it. Why should he? It's only a racial attack. Why should he attend that? That's minor stuff. The judge said Abdullah's deteriorating mental health at the time of the attack contributed towards the offence. Oh, I see where this is going. Abdulla was sentenced to 8 months imprisonment, suspended for 18 months, with rehabilitation and mental health treatment requirements. The judge said society in general would be better served by Abdulla being allowed to continue his psychiatric treatment program. Yeah, I think I'm going to disagree with you there, Mr. Judge. I think society in general would be better served by him getting the fuck out of it. Maybe being thrown in jail for the 3rd racial assault he's committed. 3rd. Psychiatric treatment, give me a fucking break. So yeah, sorry about that. Let me go back to my email that I sent Vera Bird. Let me just continue where I left off. Also, as I'm sure you're aware, recently a man was spared jail in South Shields after spitting in a baby's face and uttering anti-white remarks after doing so. Would this fall into the hate crime category? That's something we all want to know, because she's blabbering on about the internet and hate crimes and how it's all awful. Would that be a hate crime? Well, I can't tell you because she didn't get back to me. She didn't reply to me, and I left it for a while. I waited. I waited for about a week and a half. No reply. Nothing. So yeah, Vera Bird, when you need her, to clarify something that she says, isn't available to do so. But I have a sneaking suspicion that this hate crime register is probably designed to have more white people on it than anyone else. It's just a feeling I have. And can you just imagine, just let your imaginations run wild for a moment, if the characters in this story were reversed? If it was a white person who leant down and spat on a Muslim baby's face and said that Muslims shouldn't breed or they shouldn't be here or something like that. Can you imagine the it would have been international outrage that would have happened after that incident? Cities would be burning down, people would be dead. When it happens to a white person, fuck it, you know what, he needs psychiatric help, he's mentally ill. I know this is his 3rd conviction of a race attack, of a race assault, but he needs help. He's the troubled one. Canada and the United Kingdom have made a deal with the devil. The attacks on free speech, the attacks on personal liberty, lopsided criminal justice systems that favour one group over another, and the marriage of Islamists with the far left. If you live in Canada, you need to take a stand against Motion 103. It's an absolutely anti-free speech, anti-Western liberal democracy motion. It's deliberately vague. It's that way for a reason. Here in the United Kingdom, the idea of a hate crime register is perhaps one of the dumbest fucking things I've ever heard of in my life. Once again, incredibly vague. What constitutes a hate crime? I'll be keeping a close watch on these two things as time develops, and so should you. Thank you once again everyone for watching. If you're new, please like and subscribe for more content, and until next time, I'll see you later.